So I'll just put recording on. Data. Euro inflation at 10. UK retail sales at 9:30. Tomorrow we got CAD inflation. This afternoon we have very little. This is the last. We've got weekly jobs, and this retail sales this morning and euro inflation is the last of this week's data really. Precious little tomorrow. This oil is grinding higher. Wow, this pound is in a very, very tight range this week. Got lows of 60 versus highs of so it's about 140 pip range over the last 3 and a bit days. And this one is sitting, right, okay, so it's euro inflation today. So let's mark this one off then. Didn't do us much good yesterday, did it? Unless you took the few pips it offered. Okay, so we've got the 200 below us, the gap above us, which you already tested. Again, this had a decent bounce overnight. So we dropped into decent support late last night. When did you take long DAX? It worked out after the Dow opened. It followed the Dow up. I think I called it. I think I started talking about it a little early, and then once the Dow got up and running, yeah, we got a buy signal there at 2:15. Dipped into the low. Right. Okay. Yeah, I think I did go into this twice, and finally got the second one worked. So we dropped hard at 10:30. Started to eke our way up in the doldrums, and then dropped back to that same low again at the Dow open. That was it. Right. Let's just get focused on what we can look at today. So with euro inflation, let's see. Let's have a look at the daily on this one. Then we'll go through the DAX. So I've got this channel marked up on this euro yen. And as we come into these lows, So it's a little bit messy, isn't it? Let's just get that off. You see a lot of moving averages there as well. So we're just under this 20 and 50-day moving average. These dips last week appear to have got bought. We had a good day on Tuesday, dropped back yesterday, and now we're still sitting in this tight range at the lower of the range. So if we break 390, this could ultimately get a bit of a run. We are basically in a pretty big box. Oops, didn't mean to do that. What I did mean to do is this. So since we came up here in mid-September, we've been in a box ranging from 130 to 465. That's a pretty narrow range for a couple of months. Let's put that back. So I'll take that off and just box that in. So I think this is a potential goer. Just get a feel for what the so we ran up here on Tuesday, very early morning. Now this is we just ran all day on Tuesday, didn't we? A lot of it was over by the time that the bulk of it was over by the time we came in the room, because the Central Europeans dragged it up. So we've now got that decent support down there. So that would put it back down at around about the 300 mark. Just save my charts. Yeah, I mean, a decent drop. Whenever you get a big consolidation like this, a decent drop always helps get the volume back in it. Yeah, make a note of how on Monday we had this chart pattern. So mid-morning, so we dropped into the early part of the day, and just at the doldrums they started picking up at 190. So now 313 is last week's high, which so far has already got bought. So 313 is a good place to get in. So all us Europeans haven't had the opportunity to get in at 286. So it makes me wonder if they will want to drag that down to 286 now. Notice how the slope of the lines is the same angle. So we've broken through this structure. So a retest back down there would be a good place to get long. Let's have a look. Let's look at the DAX for a minute, just let that one drift. So 13,000 is an obvious place to get long the DAX. And the structure I've got on the 60-minute chart for this one, that's a fantastic 161 reversal. So on Tuesday, we just drifted lower. Yesterday, we sold into the Euro session. I thought we were going to hold here at 950. We ultimately dropped down into 850 and now we got bought. So I would ideally, I can't, there's no other trend line I can draw really. I just think that 994 is the place to get long. Interesting how the Dow's moved well overnight. It did okay into the close. I took it off at 312 and it literally turned after I got out. I think it turned at 315, 314. Just like I was here, that was it. Where were we? Yeah, I got in at 270, 275 and got out at 312. Yeah, it's just into the 3 o'clock reversal time that this picked up. Right, let's concentrate on the DAX. A lot of drifting. For those of you who missed it, I've said that it's Europe inflation at 10, UK retail sales at 9:30. Otherwise, tomorrow is very light. That's it for the week really. Not much after that. We haven't looked at the daily DAX, so let's do that now. Right, so I've underlined the support that we've got here from September 29 highs. Yeah, I think we're going to want to come into this 900 again potentially. Still closing lower, don't forget. So we're only just holding on that trend line resistance at the moment. So I think we might still want to come lower to connect with these moving averages. Around about the 550, 600 mark. What I don't want to do is end up with a messy chart, but I will just, yeah, that's the bottom of the channel. I'm going to take that off, and leave that channel. Long-term trend line is right down here at 500. So we are still floating in the air up there. If I fib that, so what, if I take all this off and fib that, I do like that long-term trend line being on actually. I'm going to take from there, right under that low there. I'm going to fib this to there, and you can see we're sitting on the top of this range. So 700 would be, if we come down to 700, I think these moving averages would have come down to meet them by then. Okay, obviously do a lot more on that at the weekend. But we've got the Euro Yen picking up off that 25. Okay, I've been a little too chatty, haven't I? Let's hope this drifts back. Pound is not doing much. Right, we're right at this 15-minute 200, so I'm just going to leave that for now. Let's look at the Euro US. Let's range that one as well. I think, obviously, the Euro's had a great week. I did start shorting this, by the way. So we had a new high. The short signal, we had a sell signal here at 1 o'clock. We just peaked above it, and then another short signal at 2 o'clock. And you can see how this is. Now I've done the fib slightly different on this. Because we were off the scale, let me put it back. So I'm chatting a lot because I don't think there's going to be much action at the moment. So we've got some 15-minute bars out of the way. Yeah, it's okay. So we got to the 200%, went up to this resistance level, and just started selling off from the highs, peaked over it, and then came down from the 26th of October highs. So at the moment, I'm just sitting on that trendline support at the moment, underneath that 20-day moving average. So typically, if we break under 770, we could come all the way back down to Monday's lows. If we break above 800, and we're only 15 points away from that, that could blast up to, who knows, 120 even. Markets are very, very slow right now. All the time in talking, we've hardly moved really, I don't think. This pound is really trapped. You can see my 60-minute chart. It's a bit messy, but that 180 is crucial. That was Sunday's open. So we filled the gap up here. It spiked higher and filled the gap. Dropped back down to support. Retested the gap. Dropped back down to the 200. So that is, so again, drop out of 137. We could come down all the way to 130. Break above 180, and we could start to run up to 280 plus. So they're all poised. We may not get much of a run at all. I could see the Euro DAX has dropped, okay. I have to say a lot of this week, DAX has moved well into the Euro session, but a lot of charts have moved better in the US session this week, I found. I found it easier to make money in the US session this week. looks as if we're going to come and, if we break this, it looks as if we could, let me just get my ticket. Okay, so we've broken and faded. I think we could come and see that 983. I think we could come and fill that gap. So I'm just going to hope for a higher number and short this. Shorts have worked well this week. Okay, I'm shorting now, a little bit late to the party, I think. Scalper score target would be 990. So let's just get that set up. So I'm going for the gap fill 980, 983. I'm looking for a gap fill 983. Yeah, 980 would take us in contact with the 20-day moving average. Euro yen, not doing much. Pound hardly moving. Oil's not great. Yeah, so we broke support there. And look as if we might want to come down to fill that gap, hopefully. Euro yen's drifting a little lower, pound's doing nothing. Obviously I'm shorting just above a big round number. If you look on the daily chart, this gap fill, $883, just takes us under that fib line. So it makes sense to come all the way down to 700. But what makes sense is not necessarily what the market wants to do. And we've actually broken the euro range as well. Okay, I'll just go quiet until. Yeah, if we've got DAX weakness, that suggests you're right. That will suggest euro strength. So we are actually fading, coming into fade that DAX has picked up, hasn't it? Okay, so that's at the moment just faded. That's a weak 15-minute close. There are two lower 15-minute closes so far. We're still in fade territory. The fact we're above 13,000 is dodgy because we could have some bargain hunters coming in at 13,000. And this one is looking weaker. I'm not sure this DAX short is a smart move. I'm shorting too close to a big number. And that's a buy signal on the floor of the range. We had this yesterday, didn't we? The DAX was just moving inside the range. I accidentally had a close stop on this. My default stop's not right. Why is that? I'm actually out of this for a small loss because my stop, because I got in a little bit too high, so too low, and my default stop wasn't right. Now I don't know why the broker changes my stop. This is one of the reasons why I trade small size. I would, if you're in it, I'm annoyed for getting stopped out. I think it still could work. There's a decent, all the time we're closing lower in the 15-minute chart. I think we could still work. I wouldn't close it out. I've just screwed up got a little bit shorted too low and a short stop. I still think this could come out. I do not take 5-minute signals. Normally, that's not true. If I'm in a short and I'm happy with the setup, I do not take it off because I get a 5-minute signal. We're not, although we are looking at the 5-minute ranges, we're not effectively not trying to trade on a 5-minute signal most of the time. I'm not interested in 5-minute signals. I'm interested in what the trend of the day is. And as far as I'm concerned, the trend of the day is short because we've triggered short. Okay, so it's a good point to get across now. I'm not going to start jumping into trades and jumping out again because the 5-minute chart switches. Let's have a look at this pound. I've not even ranged it. I'm really interested in, so we've closed 3 days higher on this one. Right, because I got if you're still in the DAX short, then leave it. I think my only mistake was shorting too close to the big round number. If you're not stopped out, stay in it. Otherwise, I think the thing with the pound might be just to stay out of it until we get the data out of the way. Now, this is a huge resistance area on the intraday charts. I'll just back off the DAX for a moment and then I'll talk about the DAX in a minute. We were just peaking out of the range, and we had a lot of selling into this in the early Euro session. I would love to get us quite keen on shorting up here, but I obviously need a signal. One thing about being a scalper is if you get it wrong, you've got ample opportunity to get it right. So you will see me switch direction. Right, that DAX has picked up off the support at the moment. So I think I would now, in hindsight, I think I should have waited for 50. Because we just come into yesterday's highs and got bought. So if that is going to short, bearing in mind we've got a bullish hourly chart coming into this. Yeah, I think in hindsight I should have, if I was going to short higher. I've said to you before, I'm not following my own rules here. If you're going to short as high as you can, and that's not what I did. So I've risked 20 quid to find that out. And that's, yeah, what I don't want to do is scalp all over the place and have lots of little losses, because then that builds up. But what I do want to do, what I will do, is if I get it wrong, I will re-enter when I think I've got it right. Yeah, that little, it's a little bit of history down there at 8 from the German Open. We had really weak retail sales last time around. We had a decline, nearly a 1% decline in sales last time around. Where are we? So I'll come back to the DAX in a minute, because that's actually moved up well, isn't it, typically? I'm interested in the fact we're just hovering around yesterday's close. Well, this is major resistance. All my default stops have moved. I don't really understand that. I'm itching to get short this, but I can't because I haven't got a signal. And it's triggered long. You're giving yourself quite big stops, Asif. Be careful. That's quite a sweet move off of that floor, isn't it? Let me take this off of the DAX. Let's just concentrate. That's really bullish. The fact it's come off yesterday's high. Right, let's see where this 15-minute bar closes. I'm keeping a very close eye on what DAX is doing. So we'll come back to that. Yeah, I see if I would be 17 pip stops is a little bit wide. We've effectively got all the dips of, although we've had some hard selling on this, all the dips have got bought on this pound this week on the 60-minute chart. We have, once we got the initial, yeah, once we got the initial drop on Monday morning out of the way, all dips have got bought onto this. But it's such a huge resistance area here. That's why I'm looking to get short. But equally, it's triggered long, scalp school long, and I don't want to make another mistake. One mistake is one too many for me on a scalp school session. We're just a tiny few pips up from the open range. Excuse me. New yen's picking up. Well, if this breaks up, then I'm just going to have to hope we get a fade. As you can see, that's a heck of a lot of resistance. Yeah, so this is faded at 784. I've got a lovely reversal bar in the daily, but it's sitting right inside support. It's not sitting on the end of a run. So this is what the DAX did yesterday, isn't it? It spent a lot of the time in inside the range, and then broke out at 9:30, 9:45, I think it was. Yeah, see that pound is dodgy. I think I'm just going to have to wait until the data's out. At the moment, that's just fading. Okay, all right, I'm doing a lot of looking and talking and not much else, so I think what I might do is just back off, and that's a good 15-minute close. So a fade at 3:35. What time? This data's out at 10, isn't it? I'd like to buy that at 3:35. So I hope it comes off of this gap, drops back to fade, and give me a chance to get in. That's a decent 15-minute close, right hanging around the 200-day moving average, just how I like it. So this is going to be my target, and I'll come back to the DAX a little later. So I'm going to pull back right into 330 or even better. I mean, really, I'd be much happier if this just came back closer to 300. So I think I might just stand aside from here. Let's have very bullish 15-minute chart off of that low. I think these markets don't know which way to go, and they're looking tempting, but the ranges they're moving in are really small. So that's sitting on the close and the top of the range at the moment. DAX is pushing higher. So they're not letting that go. A little touch of the range of the close has held that up. And DAX continues to push higher. I think we just need to get this data out of the way. So 48 is the trigger long. I'm tempted to short this now. up here. In fact, seeing as we are, well, let's just wait for more. Let's wait for more confirmation. I don't want this to. I don't want to go short and then this to punch through. But the short I did earlier should have been saved for this sort of test. Pound is just still eking up. Potentially going to end up with a bearish 60-minute chart here. I think we do want to come and touch that gap. I think I just got short too low before. Right. I would like to get short a little higher up now. I'm still smack in the middle of the range. I think I'm just going to leave it. Euro yen's come off. These are very tentative markets. These are all over the place. So this is coming back into an area that I was interested in buying in. Let's just get these hourly bars out of the way. Yeah, that DAX is picking up again. All these markets are just waiting. Yeah, that's bullish, but could go either way. Pound yen, I've not even had a decent push off of 887. Could go either way. DAX, DAX back, about to get a spinning top. Well, pound data's next, so let's just look at this one. So I'm flicking around, aren't I? It's the charts are just not giving direction. Closed significantly higher in the hourly. But we are struggling with this level. I'm going to nibble short here. We're still in bullish territory. I've just decided to short this on the basis of the 15-minute chart more than anything else. And the level of resistance we've got in the pound. So I'm short this. It's not a scalper school short as far as the 5 minutes concerned. It is a 15-minute sell signal though, to me. So I am short. I'm going to put in I'm going to leave that that long target for now, and then see if that can work later on. The euro I'm going to leave until after we've got this pound data out of the way. DAX is tough to call. It's just stuck in that. That's just, if anything, I would say short. But there's a lot of congestion above this. So let's see. The pound continues to look as if it wants to roll over. We're underneath the trend line, underneath the 200-day moving average in the 5-minute chart. We're underneath the 20-day moving average in the 60-minute chart. We're underneath a lot. We're underneath a lot of resistance. So I am going to see what I've got on the table, if anything, up to the data, and then make a decision whether I stay in or not. At the moment, we're just fading. I've just got the default 12 pip stop at the moment. What I would like to be able to do is obviously move it down, but well, I'm not risking much money anyway, so the euro yen's just drifting a little lower. The euro's come off. Pound yen's come off. The pound and the dollar have got strength at the moment. That looks as if that could just plunge. That's been in a much tighter range. Euro yen is looking lower. I think it's crying out to come out on this support. DAX is happy that the euro is weak at the moment and looking as if that could punch up. But that is it's in the sell zone, scalp score sell zone at the moment. But any close above break through that 48 and that triggers long. This is trickling lower. I've got 4 or 5 pips on the account at the moment. And if we get going, who knows, maybe we can see 130 this week. You look at this chart here. You can see how overall flat we are. If I take this fibs off, run the trend line down, you can see we're right underneath that trend line. So if we come down and just 130.28 is the support. Could go either way. But the path of least resistance is down. And the DAX is struggling at that ceiling. Euro yen is holding that lower level. Okay, got a few pips under my belt on this one now then. Right, I'm going to go quiet and come back to you about 25 past. All right, so let's see. Okay, I'll talk to you 25 past. Well, very volatile. DAX has run up and run back down again. That's a fade on the DAX. I've got a few pips, not much, 3 or 4 pips under the belt. Dip down to 53. I'll keep this on. My stop's 172. Just risking a few quid. I'll keep it on, see if we can get a drop. Euro yen's flat. Just have a quick look at the DAX. Yeah, decent run up. The floor got bought. 05 got bought. Ran into 70. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. I still think that needs to fill the gap. They might have dragged that up just to flog it off. Let's see. I mean, to me, the pound definitely looks like a drop. But hey, you know, we need to see what the market reaction is. My stop loss. I've moved my stop loss down a little bit to 172 on the pound. So it's a little bit closer to my entry. So I'm about I'm 7 or 8 pips above my entry. So I've got a 7 pip stop. And break even -7. So I'm risking £14. I've left. If this breaks up, I will lose £14, as opposed to the few quid I've got on the books at the moment. A lot of the time, you are safer by taking it off. Okay, if you've got a few pips, you are safer to take it off. I've chosen to stay in this and risk a few quid. I'm currently nearly 10 pips up at the moment. So it's your call. Are you going to stay in this with the risks involved, or are you going to take your profits and bank them? As usual, it's very hard to say at this stage which way it's going to go. Very hard. We're inside the range. We've had a bullish break. We're inside the range and could pop up. Could go either way. Okay, I'm actually taken out. Don't want to know what the data is. That's a shame. You know, some you win, some you lose. To me, it all looks set for a plunge, but yeah, like I say, it could have gone either way. It could still plunge. They might just have done a little bit of a stop run. Who knows? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to arrange this 5-minute bar. It's a rubbish little chart, isn't it? Rubbish from the point of view, it's a 40 pip range in about 2.5 hours. So it's pretty pathetic, really. I'm not going to do anything. I don't want to know what the data is. I'm just going to just see what the market reaction is. So at the moment we've got that high. I'll just make that more accurate. Quick look at the euro yen. It's flapping around inside the range. Well, the best move was the floor of the DAX. That's fading. I'd like to see a dip back in. If I was going to buy that, I'd like to see 2025. So we've not even got the data range yet. Let's just assume for now it's going to be data range. Potential double top in what, the pound, Adrian, or DAX, right? Okay. Yeah, it's not looking happy, is it? Yeah, it's just gone into the resistance up there at 70, isn't it? Yeah, you could be right. If it is going to sell, then it could be that 70. To be absolutely honest, I don't like these markets this morning. I really tight ranges. And the pound's popping. That's a 15-minute buy signal now. Okay, so we break 74. That's a buy signal. 161. If we come back to the floor and hold, that's good. It's in such a tight range. I can't call that one. If we come back, I'll tell you what. If we come back to the 900 on this one and hold, I think this might be the better one. I think if we come into 900, that would get me interested. I like the way it's held the gap. I'm just going to nibble here. I've gone long here. I'm just going to nibble this long, see if we can break 13. All right, this is my last trade of the morning. I like the big number. I like the price action. I like the way we're above the gap and the 200 moving average. So yeah, this is the one for me. And I will try and hold this all morning if I can. Obviously, let's just look out for the scalp score target. Right, the Friday close has got me interested. Yeah, I have a look at the Friday close on this one. Put my stop up there for now. 975. We may dither until we get European data. That fade on the DAX is working. It's pulling back. Right, I'm going to go quiet now. And just stay in this one if I can. And let's see where it takes it. I'll be around at 10 o'clock. So I'll stay here till 10 o'clock and then see what we get. I think this might hang around until European inflation's out of the way. Okay, I'll talk to you around about 10. Yeah, I think in answer to your point, Adriana, it's a good observation. What I would say is the DAX is only comprised of 30 companies, whereas the Dow is composed of, I think it's about 100. I think, but basically the Dow is bigger. So yeah, you're right. I think the market does look for direction from the Dow. Um, that's why sometimes if the DAX isn't clear, I prefer to trade the Dow. Yeah, I think that, but in answer to your question, I think the bottom line is, I think you're right. I think the DAX does take its lead from the Dow, which is why this week we've had much better moves in the US session than we've had in the Euro session, I think, on the DAX on the whole. Yeah, so I mean, yesterday the DAX turned just, I think, just before or just after the Dow opened, didn't it? Okay, so I'm going to keep this one on the boil. The euro yen is picking up out of the middle of this open trading range as well. That is looking like a buy around there at 330. A few pips up in the pound yen. A lot of resistance above here. So I think we're gonna hesitate until we get the European inflation out of the way in 12 minutes. DAX is potentially suffering from the strength in the euro. The euro is right back in the range, look, right on the trend line. So the Scalper School target on this would be 35, 30, just over 30, if we see it, which would be yesterday's highs. Yesterday's highs is the Scalper School target. Direction of the DAX, yeah, might well see 20 again. If 20 comes down and holds, that might be the place to get long. In the meantime, these yen pairs, I think this one's looking good. It's a good bullish 15-minute chart. We've just got a lot of congestion above. So it's going to need help from Europe to push that through, I think. Okay, I'll go quiet until 10. Okay, so scalper score target hit on this one. It would have been lovely to get the DAX right. So frustrated that I got that wrong. That would have topped our accounts up in scalper score nicely. This is a big resistance area, just as we are. Scalper score target is hit on this one at 30. And so just a question of whether this European data is going to push this higher. 150 is obviously the next big number. We effectively bought just above the 900 mark. Have we got enough juice to hit 150? Well, you either take your scalper score target off and potentially look for retracement to that 910, 914, or manage to stop and see if this can break further on the back of this European data. As far as the euro is concerned, and the DAX, they're all sitting on support. And that's what the pound was like before the data came out for the pound, wasn't it? So we rejected 345, sitting here 15 points lower. I'll tell you what, a dip down to these support levels would be tempting. Let's see what we get. So just because we're sitting up here doesn't mean so we're going to go further. Just a question of how you're going to manage your trade and your account. Okay, we're coming into this with a very bullish hourly chart with seconds to go. Yeah, like I said, this could pull back to, I don't know what, nobody knows what it's going to do. It could roll over. There's no guarantees in this profession. Could come and test 10, 14 and go higher. We could just break up from where we are. Who knows? So it's a good close. Guessing it's a good number. The euro yen is picking up from 330. DAX is pretty quiet. So we're just back to resistance. That's all we're doing at the moment. Just a question of whether that can pick up. Euro's fairly quiet here. DAX and euro very quiet. Okay. Getting a bit of a push. So what have I got at the moment? I've got 25, 26 at the moment. So I've only just hit scalp score target there. The European markets are very quiet on this data so far. Okay, so the scalper score target is well and truly hit, just poking above yesterday's highs. Right, I'm going to leave you there. As far as let's have a look at the euro yen. Doesn't seem to know what to do. DAX is just sitting on top of, DAX is fading and holding. Pound is hitting resistance. Still eking higher, just at yesterday's highs. The fact the euro yen is not going higher may mean that that will restrict the pound yen. Okay, I would mark off the euro yen range and see if that breaks up or down. Okay, I'm currently 26, 27 pips up in this one. I think this euro yen looks good. I will just nip a trade on that one as well. All right, potentially going to buy that euro yen. Let's see what happens. All right, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll update you in the room. But I think I might nibble long on this euro yen. We'll see how that 5-minute range goes. Right, I need to go. I've got to get off to a meeting, so that's what I'll do. All right, catch you later. I'll send you the video.